What's up, everyone? It's Tim from Tim Plays a Game, and we're back with Doki Doki Literature Club. Is it me, or is this room, like, slowly getting closer and closer? Okay, yeah, it's kind of weird. This whole game's starting to really creep me out now. Hi again, Tim. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. I couldn't, no matter how much I wanted to. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I was the last person to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Ah! Thanks for keeping your promise, Tim. Hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Thank you, Yuri, for keeping your face. Oh my goodness. Making you dive headfirst into the Literature Club when you're not accustomed to it? Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. What is wrong with this game? Everything is wrong with this game! You already had to be dragged here by Monika. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, oh my goodness, Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps the manga collection in the clubroom. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature! Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, Tim. We'll make sure you put your comfort first, okay? Yuri shoots Natsuki with a disappointed glance. Anyway, now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have interest in picking up a book to read. Well, I can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in the club now, so it only feels right to do something like that if you ask. Wait. I didn't mean it like that. This whole room is tilted. I just realized that. It's like getting more and more tilted. If you really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. Ah, no, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try and be part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you want me to. Are you sure? I just felt like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out. Yeah, this whole room is slightly tilted to the right. It keeps tilting and getting closer, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? So, she even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Oh, dude, see? The whole room just went back to normal. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monika to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she knows me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh. It's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed it in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book that you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have two copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy two of them. Ah, I see. Yeah, because I've always accidentally bought two of the same book. There's something fairly obvious that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about, anyway? Well, I look at the cover of the book. This book is titled Portrait of Markov. I've heard that book. I think I've heard that title before. I'm not sure. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's about the religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison, and the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean. Nothing about the limbs. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yeah, definitely dark. Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so the dark part came out of nowhere. That is this entire game right there. That line is this entire game. Thought it was going to be a nice story. Thought it was going to be about girls and literature, and this is nothing like that. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Tim? Go back and watch my previous videos. I'm clearly not a fan of this. No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kind of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When the horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because the world is full of horrible people and we're worthless anyway. Then suddenly, I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. And don't ever do that, whatever that was again, either. I haven't lost interest or anything. I'm just really creeped out. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts. Okay, I definitely missed that. And I'm kind of glad I did. I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. I forgive you for now. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club, after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Whoa, yes. I mean, you don't have to, but... what are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put in my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not used to. That is reading in company with someone else. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not particularly a bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just bathing in the feeling of whoa. Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do. I don't mean to. Sorry. I mean, here, this should work, right? I slide my desk I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so I instead use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Oh, this is nice. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after I flip it to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Ah, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it at my own violation. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking the way she second guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Sorry. I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet. So I don't know why that came into my head. Yuri, are you feeling alright? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... My breathing? Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about? Tim! Did something happen just now? A lot of something's just happened now. I had no idea. Lie. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess. So, you don't know anything. What's there to know? Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her? Oh, no, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her. Oh my goodness. No, nothing. Haha, don't worry, I believe you, silly. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming. Alright, if you say so. Anyway, why don't we start with sharing our poems with each other? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I figured we'd just get started without her. Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up, I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, and then slip it into my bag. Let's go with Monika first. I should start with Monika. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I want her to know what I'm putting effort. Hi, Tim! Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Ha 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 ha. Don't worry, Tim. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know. But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monika my poem. Great job, Tim. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It was really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. Ahaha, that's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know what? That Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean like that like it's a bad thing, though. But sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. Ooh, that's never good. She spends so much time in her own head that's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being so indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, so don't blame her for coming out a little strongly. Like earlier, I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. Suddenly the door opens. Yuri! I'm back! Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We still have plenty of time, so I'm more than glad that you took all the time you needed. Alright. Thanks, Monika. I suppose I should go get my poem now. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to be not very good. Well, that's because I have sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel the way you know. I see. Well, let's read it then. Hole in the wall. Whoa, this is different. But he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glance at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see color. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on the flat sheet of paper? The sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears? The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. Hole in the wall. Hole in the wall. Okay. So what did you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that's kind of the style that's gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure how to put it. I guess you could say that's kind of some kind of epiphany I had recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that, because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about this is, if you keep the pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Alright, let's talk to Yuri next. As Yuri reads my poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Question mark? Did I just say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her fingers along the words in the poem, as if it's breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah. Okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think that the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick up on writing styles separate from the topic matter, and they form fit the two together. The end result is both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri's apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't she supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. The tendrils of the light of my hair illuminate beneath the amber globe, bathing. It must be this one, the last remaining street light, to have withstood the test of time, the last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calms breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I'm sorry for having such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking about that at all. But it took you so long to read. Ah. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting's pretty. Sorry, I've been having problems recording things lately. I'd just like to save every so often in case I have to stop recording. I actually think your handwriting's pretty. Eh? That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it's really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about ghosts at all, Tim. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember, the poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so... Nah. If anything, I could have probably learned a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Tim. Ah, me too. Okay, next up is Natsuki. Question mark? Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you. That's a little blunt. Well, excuse me. It's not like I said it was bad. It just didn't invoke any emotions. So basically, it's not cute enough for your tastes. Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass? Sigh. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. Certified fresh. Yeah, I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems to help for people to express themselves? Your writing style your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like it when it's easy to read but hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can really be disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like, I set up the rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into that than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Okay. Phew, I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Monika is writing something in her notebook. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They're gingerly exchanging sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems, and we will find out what they think next time on Tim Plays a Game. So, for the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to Tim Plays a Game, stay tuned for more Doki Doki Literature Club videos, and until next time, guys, this is Tim from Tim Plays a Game signing off, and have a good night.